This is going to be a look at one of the Ravens' chances to close out the game against the Steelers on Sunday night. Of course, the Steelers came from behind on Kenny Pickett's, unbelievable high-stakes touchdown pass to Najee Harris in the left side of the end zone on a 3rd and 8. Great play by a rookie and a second-year player. But this is going to be a look at an offensive play call on a 3rd and 2 when the Ravens have possession with about 4.5 minutes left in the game, and a real opportunity to kind of close things out, or at least get another first down and make things a little more difficult for the Steelers in trying to go down and get a game-winning touchdown play like they did. So it's going to be a 3rd and 2. You got an end zone angle picture of it right now. It's a play call that I'll delve into for a while, to be honest with you. And I'll compare plays from earlier in the season and show you why the timing of this is so poor. And I'll also point out my consistency in criticizing this play, one aspect of this play that you kind of see in the middle of the screen right there, where Tyler Huntley is holding the ball out in a very a juvenile fashion. I don't mean juvenile like to insult him. This is what he's being taught to do. He's being taught to do this by coaches. It's a very elementary play, if you ask me, in terms of the play fake that's there. There is actually no sweep threat. That's James Prochet, who appears to be running across the screen. And you can see by all of the shoulders of the Steelers' defensive players, no one is worried about that sweep fake. No one is worried about James Prochet actually getting the ball. You don't see any shoulders turned. You don't see anyone opening their hip to go with that motion or respect it. No one is really sliding over because they understand that either J.K. Dobbins is going to get the football or Tyler Huntley is. Now, I would say that it's a good thing to give J.K. Dobbins the football on an important 3rd and 2 late in the game. Like I said, the Ravens are holding on to a 13-9 lead at this point. Let's get to the film. And when I say that this is failure to plan, what I mean is you have plans made before the game to deal with a look that maybe a defense has shown on film. In this case, I don't think the Steelers had shown this look a ton. But this is the 57th minute or 56th minute, I guess, actually, of the football game. You have had enough time to draw something up. You have had enough time to try to convert against this 6-2 look. Now, what I mean by when I say 6-2, if you haven't watched any of my breakdowns so far this week, is let's start from the top. You've got a corner. You've got a free safety, which is Minkah Fitzpatrick. You've got another corner down here. Okay, so that's your 3 DBs. Mark Robinson, number 93, is here. He's one of the inside linebackers. He played a spectacular game. Robert Spillane is the other inside linebacker here. He played just as well, if not better. So that's 3 DBs and 2 inside backers. That's 5. You're left with 6 players. You got an edge player right here. Highsmith, fantastic player. Generational Hall of Fame talent on the other side in TJ Watt. And 1, 2, 3, 4 interior linemen. It's a 6-2. It's essentially a 4 with 2 rolled up outside backers. Somebody in the comment section of another video was trying to call it a split 40. It's not a split 40 look. Split 40 is a little different. It involves 2-3 techniques and nobody lined up in either A gap. But in any case, look, the Ravens are running a sweep across here, sweep jet motion with James Prochet. They're never going to give the ball to James Prochet on this. They never have this year. They've never given the sweep to James Prochet. They would generally give it to Duvernay, and this guy was Mike Davis out leading for the potential give to Duvernay, and it would be QB power read, which is basically what we're making this look like. The backside left guard is pulling, and he's supposed to either kick out someone or wrap, and I don't think that the Ravens had done a good job as players or coaches timing this play up, and here's what I mean by this. Watch J.K. Dobbins' step. There's 2 gather steps, and then planting off his back foot. Guys, you've got 3 steps here, and he hasn't moved at all. Now Ronnie Stanley is getting put on skates by Cam Hayward, so credit to Cam Hayward. He's playing his ass off on an important play in the 56th or 57th minute of the football game, but that penetration doesn't matter as much if J.K. Dobbins is actually getting downhill. J.K. Dobbins is not the problem here, personally. That the individual J.K. Dobbins. It's what he's being taught on this play. I'm running this back multiple times. If you don't like it, I don't care. I'm running this back so you can see the steps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not moving at all. By the time he's planting his foot to get downhill, you've already got some penetration on the backside by Cam Hayward. Additionally, Highsmith, who is unblocked, is blitzing off that edge as well. So Ronnie Stanley's trying to handle both of them, and he's not even handling Cam Hayward well. Number one. Number two, you've got a guy in motion who hasn't drawn anyone. He hasn't moved an inside linebacker. He hasn't widened an edge player. You've got an unblocked corner out here who's the only guy that would be there to deal with the potential sweep to Prochet that is not going to happen. And then simultaneous to that, the O-line has done a very poor job of communicating that this is not going to be a kick by the left guard in his pull. This is going to be a log. Because what's happening is you're getting Mark Andrews taking on TJ Watt. So TJ Watt's not going to get kicked out. You're not going to block the guy you're going to kick out, all right? So he's not leaving TJ Watt alone. Simultaneous to that, Pat Ricard is blocking, I think it's Leal, is how you say his name, number 98, the guy who was assigned to line up to his side generally the whole game in the 6-2 look. So neither of these two players, 98 or 90, is the guy who's supposed to get kicked out. There needs to be some kind of call by the Ravens offensive line to indicate, hey, we're not kicking anyone out here. We're just going to let you pull and log. So here's the way this would work. Let's say that generally 98 is going to be the kick out guy. Let's just say. Let's go to the end zone angle to explain this. All right, let's say that 98 is going to be the guy who's going to get kicked out. But for whatever reason, the Ravens make a determination as they line up, either Ricard or Macari or Andrews, that they don't want to kick this guy out. They want to kick the next player, which in this case is TJ Watt. Then what they would get is they would get some kind of double on 98 and try to get movement in this direction. And then Andrews or Macari try to get up to Spillane. And they would make a long call, meaning it's a longer kick-out block, Ben Powers, than normal, because you're not kicking out 98 now, you're kicking out 90. I'm not saying that's what they should have done. I'm giving you an example of how the calls could work, depending on whether they're going inside out from the call, so right guard to right tackle with the call, or whether they're going outside in, depending on who they want to make the call. I'm saying to you, an NFL offensive line, in the 56th minute of the football game, having seen this look probably 24 times at this point, either against 22 personnel or in some cases 21 personnel, should have been able to make an adjustment to this. As it is, Ben Powers, you'll see, I'll pause it in the middle of his pull a couple times. This is Ben Powers, the left guard pulling. He would normally be kicking out someone, either 98 or 90, who are both being blocked, as I said and explained earlier. Powers is blocking no one. There's no attempt to make a call. So you've got a motion man who's drawing no one with the motion. B, you've got a pulling left guard who's not blocking anyone because no one's made the correct call. Whatever the call should be in the Ravens system. I don't know if it should be a long call. To me, if I would want to kick out 98, but 98's playing this kind of like pseudo bear technique on Ricard, where he's going to get hands on Ricard no matter where Ricard is. I offer to you that maybe we should have run away from Patrick Ricard on this play. Look, it's a bad play call for a lot of reasons. It's a bad play call because of what is being taught back here at running back to time up with the sweep. They're trying to time it up with the sweep, and that's why Dobbins' steps are so elongated and so delayed. If you want to run this in certain situations, fine. Don't run it on 3rd and 2 when you're getting this 6-2 look where there is probably going to be penetration because you do not have a backside tight end to deal with the backside outside linebacker, which in this case is Highsmith. There's nothing to hold Highsmith, number one. Hayward dominates Ronnie Stanley on this play, and because of that, and because of the delayed steps of J.K. Dobbins, which again, he's being taught, it's not his fault, Ronnie Stanley's left leg is back there and collisions with J.K. Dobbins, which causes issues with Dobbins trying to get downhill. Hayward is there. Hayward wouldn't be there if Dobbins' steps were quicker. It's all related. Simultaneous to that, look at the play fake by Huntley. It's a very poor play fake. That's the type of play fake you would normally see in youth football from in the shotgun. And it's not a shot at Tyler Huntley. It's as what he's being taught to do on this play. And I pointed it out 2 weeks ago, and some people didn't understand it. It's a horrible fake. It draws no one, and it doesn't do anything to impact the play. You have complete failure at all levels on this play call, if you ask me. Now, look, credit to the Steelers. Like, they played a defense, they played a look all game long that gave the Ravens issues that the Ravens couldn't solve. They essentially gave the Ravens a math problem, 6-2, that the Ravens were unable to solve in a physical manner. I do not think this play call puts them in the best position to solve that math problem. regardless of whether they were able to do it, I don't think this is the best play call. I would want to get Dobbins moving downhill now and not have this elongated, ill-timed handoff that's late in the progression in terms of the timing of when the ball is handed off. Look how long it takes the ball to get in Dobbins' hands and for Dobbins to clear Huntley. What I mean by clear Huntley is get past the level at which Huntley lined up. Let me get to the all-22 and maybe this will make sense. Forgive me if you guys don't enjoy me going into this play call as in-depth as this one is, but I feel like this is a very poor play call in general. I don't think this is an NFL-level sweep/downhill run play. This is a very poorly timed play with no sweep threat, even though on paper the Ravens, for whatever reason, think it is. Look at where Huntley's left foot is, and watch how long it takes because of the steps and because they're trying to time up with the sweep. Watch how long it takes for Dobbins to actually clear the level at which Huntley lines up. I know I replayed this multiple times beforehand. It takes a long damn time for J.K. Dobbins to finally clear or even get even with where Huntley's feet originally were. That's what I mean by clear, is get further or closer to the line of scrimmage that a quarterback is. That's the 39. All right, let's get back here. Look at the penetration of Highsmith, Hayward on the backside, and then also I think you've got a nose tackle that Kevin Zeitler's trying to block down on. Let's pull this back and so you can see the original line of scrimmage. So look at where the original line of scrimmage is. It's almost to the 44. Let's call it the 43 and a half. Dobbins gets approximately 1 yard of clearance to the 39 based on where his original alignment is, while Highsmith and Hayward get about 3, maybe 3.5 in terms of penetration upfield. The timing of this was really poor by the Ravens. The use of it against this 6-2 look was really poor. I think this is a really painful way to end the game. Of course, we know that the Steelers had to go down and execute, and credit to Kenny Pickett, credit to Najee Harris, and all the guys that executed on that final drive. But this was a poor play call, poor use of the personnel by the Ravens offensive staff. And I wanted to get look, I spent 12 minutes talking about, one play. So if you don't like that, my apologies. But I thought this was due some criticism, some constructive criticism, talking about the fact that I know myself, I complained about this play 2 or even 3 weeks ago. The timing of it was very poor when we did this before with the back on the other side. So when we had the running back on this side, and we were motioning across, which is an even more laughable fake at a sweep. They're not going to run the sweep on a side opposite of the halfback. Think of the Andy Isabella failed jet sweep on the first possession. We ran that to the side of the running back, to the side where Gus Edwards lined up. It was to Huntley's left, and that's where the sweep goes. You're not ever going to run the sweep opposite the running back with nobody out there to lead block. If you are, then you're an even dumber play caller than the guy who called this play. Let me know what you guys think of this this breakdown of one play. They generally try to give you more than one play, but I thought this one was particularly maddening and frustrating to watch during the game on Sunday night, late Sunday night, and now here looking at it again with an opportunity to maybe close out the game or at least make things far more difficult on the Steelers to go down and win the game with about 4.5 minutes left. One more first down, you could take another minute and 30 off the clock or something like that, whatever the time is. The Ravens were running that play from the negative 44, so they were approaching midfield. Two more first downs probably gives them a great chance to close out the game, and I thought that this play call really showed the weakness of our staff in confronting this 6-2 look that you still see on the screen that the Steelers ran. Credit to the Steelers coaches and players for being able to execute it and not leave open any huge seams. I think the Ravens went 28 carries for 128 yards, or 120 yards, 4.3 per carry, maybe 4.3 per carry, and generally didn't play to the standard in the run game that they have in the last 4 or 5 weeks since JK's been healthy. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section.